I still remember the way the boardroom smelled that day. Leather seats, expensive cologne, and the faint bitterness of old coffee. The tension in the air was thick enough to choke on. I sat there straight-backed, my hands clasped on the polished mahogany table, waiting for what I thought was a long-overdue recognition. Dad stood at the head of the room, adjusting his glasses, his voice steady but worn. "It's time for me to pass the torch," he announced. I took a slow breath. This was it, the moment I had sacrificed years of my life for. But then, he said it. "After much consideration, I have decided that Adam will be the new CEO." For a split second, I thought I had misheard him. Adam, my brother Adam, the same Adam who had spent years jet-setting around the world, partying and blowing through company money like it was his personal ATM? I turned to look at him. He was already grinning, sitting back in his chair like he'd just won a game he never even had to play, and then, the final dagger, Adam stood up, clearing his throat. "There's something else," he said, flipping open a folder. "I've uncovered some concerning discrepancies in how my dear brother has been handling the company's affairs." I felt my stomach turn to ice. He spun a web of half-truths and outright lies, painting me as reckless, overstepping my authority, making unauthorized deals. It was all vague enough to sound plausible, but just damning enough to turn the board against me. By the time he finished, Dad sighed and gave a single nod. "Effective immediately. Marcus is no longer with the company." Security stepped forward. I could feel every eye in the room watching me, waiting for a reaction. I gave them nothing. No outburst. No pleading. No fight. As I walked past Adam, he leaned in, whispering just loud enough for me to hear. "Nothing personal, little brother. Just business." I clenched my fist so hard my nails dug into my palms. But I didn't say a word. I didn't have to, because Adam had no idea what was coming. 10 years earlier, the company had been on life support. My father, a brilliant businessman but a terrible money manager, was drowning in debt. I was fresh out of business school when I walked into his office one night and found him staring at stacks of unpaid invoices like they were gravestones. "I think it's over, son," he had muttered. "I don't know how to fix this." Something inside me clicked. "I do," I told him, and from that moment on, I lived at that office. I learned the supply chains, negotiated contracts, restructured finances, and made the company leaner. I cut unnecessary expenses, including Adam's. Luxury vacations, which he had been charging to the company like it was his personal expense account. He had been furious. "Look at you playing CEO," he had sneered. "Don't get too comfortable. Dad won't let you have it." I ignored him. I wasn't doing this for approval. I was doing this to save something worth saving. And it worked. We went from barely surviving to thriving. Profits soared. We expanded into new markets. The company grew from a failing enterprise to a $150 million powerhouse. But success doesn't erase favoritism. Even as I did the work, Dad still talked about Adam like he was some business prodigy, despite the fact that he did nothing. While I was working 16-hour days, Adam was being praised for simply existing. And then, just when I thought my work was about to be rewarded, he took everything from me. But he made one mistake. He underestimated me. I didn't storm out of the building that day. I walked, calm, controlled, because I wasn't leaving empty-handed. Over the years, I had built something beyond just the company. I had built leverage. That night, I made a few phone calls. Key employees, developers, senior managers, the IT team. People who had been in the trenches with me, who knew the real work that had been done. "If you trust me," I told them, "give me 48 hours before making any decisions." They didn't hesitate. Next, I turned my attention to the company's foundation, the real assets. You see, while Adam was busy drinking on yachts, I had quietly built a separate entity that housed all our critical operations: intellectual property, customer contracts, proprietary software. On paper, it was just a support firm. In reality, it was the heart of the company, and I owned it, completely. Adam didn't know it yet, but he had just inherited a company with no soul. Then I prepared the final blow. Monday morning, I woke up early, grabbed a cup of coffee, and logged into the company's internal system. They hadn't revoked my access. Amateurs. I executed a small script I had installed years ago, a simple redirect that forwarded all internal communications to a secure server I controlled, emails, memos, meeting invitations, all mine. Then I uploaded one final file to Adam's computer, a video. At exactly 8:15 a.m., Adam walked into the CEO's office looking smug. He sat down, turned on his computer, and the video started playing. A highlight reel of his worst decisions, missed meetings, excessive spending, questionable side, deals, evidence of fraud. His face turned from confusion to panic. Then the emails hit. Board members, senior staff, investors, each one receiving documented proof of Adam's incompetence. And right on cue, federal agents walked into the lobby. By noon, Adam was out. By 5 p.m., the company's stock had plummeted. And by the end of the week, my new company, built from the real talent and assets, was thriving. Adam had spent his whole life playing pretend CEO. Now he had nothing. A week later, my parents showed up at my office. "We need to talk," Dad said. I leaned back in my chair. "About what?" Dad sighed. "The company is collapsing. We need your help." I almost laughed. The same man who had thrown me aside was now asking for my mercy. "I'll help," I said. "But on my terms." He frowned. "What terms?" 1, you sell me your shares at full original value. 2, you retire and stay out of my way. 3, the money isn't a lump sum. You'll get a monthly allowance. No more reckless spending. Dad stiffened. "That's extreme." "No," I said, standing. "That's fair." He hesitated, then nodded. "Fine." As they left, Dad turned back and said, "You're a better man than I gave you credit for." I didn't respond, because I no longer needed his approval. 3 years later, my company is thriving. We've hit every milestone. We've built something that will last. Adam? He vanished. Occasionally, his name pops up in cautionary tales about nepotism and failed leadership. And Dad? He's silent. I think he knows the bridge is burned beyond repair. At the end of the day, success isn't about who makes the most noise. The peacocks strut and show off their feathers. But the eagles, we see everything from above, and we win. We are the ones who observe things from above, and that's the end of the story or the beginning, depending on your perspective. Thank you for sticking around. Please let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, or tales to offer. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.